Remodelers and custom builders. Last video, we talked about the Remodeler growth framework with a focus on attract, how to get more of the right prospects to your business and your website. And now we are moving on to convert. So we're still in the Remodeler growth framework, which is all about how do you scale your remodeling or custom home business from a marketing and sales perspective. And now that we've got more of the right people coming to our website, we're going to focus on converting more of those people into leads. So as we get started, we're going to look at kind of our typical marketing funnel here. And so we're going to break this into two pieces. So when somebody lands on your website, they really only fall into two buckets. And so we're going to take this funnel and basically divide it into those two buckets. Now, most of you are familiar with these type of leads. These type of leads down here at the bottom of the funnel are what we call ready leads. They are ready to engage in the sales process. They are ready to start their project. They're ready to buy. Now, this is typically about 4% of the market. So when you get people to your website, there's only about 4% of anyone in your city, town, area that's actively looking to build a custom home, remodel their home, basically start working on that project. This is the section that most everybody is fighting over. That's why pay-per-click ads, so renting in the attract phase, Google costs just go up. It gets more and more competitive trying to compete for the people that are ready to start their projects today. And so that's why we also want to think about who's up here. And so we have another bucket of people that hit your website, and those people are researching. And so those make up the other 96% or so. So again, when somebody lands on your website, they're really only in one of two places. They're researching and thinking about their project, or they're ready to buy. And so if we zoom out and think about, okay, I've got two types of people hitting my website, then we need two different approaches for capturing and converting both types of leads. And so over here, we're going to draw a couple of doors. And so what we want to have is we want to have doors that both types of people can enter through. And so we call this our two-door conversion strategy. And so if somebody hits our website and they're researching, we need a different door for those that hit your website and are ready to buy now. They're going to walk through door number 2. So how do we do that? We're going to do that through a couple different types of things. Now, for those that are ready, you're familiar with a lot of these. These are called on-ramps. These are on-ramps to sales. And so if somebody is ready, we just need to give them a pathway to convert. And so this is going to be the key here is we are going to give them multiple paths. Multiple paths because we want to have low friction. We want it to be super easy for these people to convert. And so this could be a form. It could be a meeting scheduler. It could be a chat. It could be a phone number. We want lots of options, whatever you can offer to somebody up when they come to your website. They can click the contact us, fill out a form. There can just be a meeting scheduler, making it super easy. There could be a chat bot. They can just call the phone number on your website. There could just be an email address. And so we can give them lots of different options. So that's for the 4% of the market. They're ready to buy now. They're pretty familiar with all of these ways. If they'd rather chat, cool, that makes it easier for them. If they'd rather just fill out a form and have you get back to them, cool, that makes it easy, and so on. So we give them multiple options. The key here is we want this to be low friction. Make it easy. They're ready to buy, so we want to talk to them. Now, for those that are researching, which again, this is the majority of people, this is just in your market. Obviously, if people have come to your website, more of those people may be ready to buy because they were researching and trying to find you. But when you just look at your marketplace, there's a large percentage that are just researching, and so a very high percentage of people that hit your website are also just researching. And so we want to use a lead magnet. And that's just something of high value that we can use in exchange for an email address. And so here we talked about this being multiple, and over here we're going to use a single lead magnet. And we just want this to be the best converting. And so you may have to go through different tests to find out what is going to be our best converting lead magnet. But once you know what it is, you really just want to capture the most number of leads. So when somebody is in this part of the funnel, right, they're researching, they landed on your website, they don't want to schedule a meeting. They don't want to call. They don't want to email in. They're just researching. So we want to offer them up something of value. This could be a cost guide. It could be a quiz. It could be a budget calculator. It could be any number of things, but we need to pick something that they're hitting your site and they're saying, yeah, here's my name and email. I would love that thing, whatever that thing is. Now, we've been using a cost guide for many, many years. That is a very high converting lead magnet. So if you don't have a lead magnet, start with that. It will be one of the best converting things you can do. We're always testing to try to figure out, is there something else that would convert better? And if there is, then we would just swap it out and use that as our best converting lead magnet. That way, as you're getting traffic coming into your site, some of it you own, you're not paying for every click. Some of it you rented, you are paying for all those clicks from paid ads. And then some of it you're earning from news stories, things that you're getting featured in. But traffic is coming to your site, and then all of these people, we want them to download this, to fill out a form, to go onto our email list. And again, if you just watched Attract, that goes into our owned ring. And so we're building an email list. We're going to talk about a lot in the next video, Nurture, what to do with all of these people, because you're thinking, why do I want to spend all this time and energy and effort capturing people that are researching? It's because they're researching and they will eventually be ready. And so once we've got a name and an email that we've captured via a lead magnet, then we can do a lot of powerful things to build some trust and credibility so that when they are ready, we can on-ramp them to sales. So as you look at your website, you want to make sure that every page has the ability to convert. And so we've got a very simple funnel broken down into two different types of people that are hitting our website. And again, we talked about these two doors. And so if we take your website, and we'll just say this is your home page, we want to make sure that we have two doors on this page. And so we might have one door at the top, and that is our on-ramp. So you might have in your header, schedule a consultation or contact us. And then as they're reading down and scrolling, you might have another door, which is, hey, download our cost guide to see what your project might cost. And so when they land on your homepage, we now have the ability to convert somebody that's researching and somebody that's ready. And then you might actually have somebody do a Google search and land on your blog post, which would be an interior page on your website. So this could be your blog. They're going to come straight off a Google search right to your blog. And so we also need two doors on this page. And so you might have in the sidebar a door, and then here's your blog, and then you have another door. And so every single page on your website becomes an opportunity to capture and convert a lead And if done right, you can capture and convert either style of lead depending on where they are in the process. And so many times we think, oh, we just need to fix our homepage and make sure our homepage converts. Everyone goes through our homepage. Many people go through your homepage. There is a huge bucket of people that don't go through your homepage because you have blog content that is ranking on Google. And so they do a Google search, they see your blog, they click on it. This is the first page they land on. They do another Google search and your kitchen services page shows up. So here's another page. They land directly on this page. We better have a way to capture a researching lead and somebody who's ready, because that may be the only page that we get them to. They may not click back to our homepage. They may never go to our portfolio. And so if you look at your website, all the pages you have, every single page is an opportunity to capture and convert a lead. And if you follow this strategy, saying, okay, every page is an opportunity to convert, and there are really just two types of people I need to convert, researching and ready. So I'm going to have a lead magnet and an on-ramp on every single page. Your conversion rate will go way up. And so for every 100 visitors, the average remodeler converts 1/2 of a lead. 0.5% is the average conversion rate of remodeling and custom building websites. We've been tracking this for a long, long time, and every time I pull up a site and I go, cool, let's take a look at your conversion, inevitably it's right around 0.5%. Sometimes it's a little lower, sometimes it's a little higher. When you implement this strategy, you can get 1, 2, 3, 4% conversion across your whole site. So just imagine you're converting the average right now, 0.5%. You apply this and you get it up to 1.5%, which would be a good jump, but definitely not the top end of what you can achieve. That would be tripling your leads. No more traffic, no more paying for ads. That would just be, I'm getting the traffic I'm getting, and now I've implemented this strategy and I've tripled my lead flow. Then you start pouring on more paid traffic, more organic traffic, and you have a basis that is going to convert at a much higher rate. And so that's when you can really see a lot more lead flow. So if I were to summarize a few key takeaways from Convert and this pillar, it's simplifying things down to, hey, we don't need to break this into top, middle, bottom of the funnel. Where is the person? They're jumping all over. They're either researching or they're ready. So if they're researching, we need an awesome lead magnet to capture a name and an email. If they're ready, let's give them several ways to basically engage with us and start a sales conversation. And don't forget that every single page on your website is an opportunity to convert. So make sure you have 2 doors in for each lead on every single page. Now, next video, we're going to talk about nurture, which is what do we do with all of these leads that we're starting to capture, and how do we take some of them and move them down into the 4% so we can start more sales conversations. All right, we'll see you in the next video.